off-site.
Okay, we're here on Let's Talk About Ice live on the couch tonight. Facebook, good evening. I have a friend to introduce you to. This is Bazza. Hey Bazza. Hello, how you doing? Bazza cares. So he's our new mascot, I think, in the office, and he's quite a funny looking little fella, and he brings us a lot of joy. So just Australia, we care. Yeah, and Bazza cares, so this is why he's joining us on the show tonight. But we also have a couple of amazing and special guests, and I'm really honoured that they're here on the show and part of our family at AAIC. I'd like to introduce you to Chaney.
Hey.
And Steve.
Hello.
And Steve is Chaney's dad, and they're on the couch tonight, and they're going to share with us a bit of their journey and through... now through recovery, thank God, and all in the name of education and awareness. But before we do that, I have a few special announcements and dates that I want to share with you. So I'm going to put Barry here. Say, see you, Barry. Hi. Hi. He'll be back a bit later. Leanne can look after him for now. Couple of dates and reminders. So if you're out there, sending lots of love to all our team in Victoria, Adelaide, Cairns, and we're opening in Sydney on the 14th of August. We'll be there. Yay! Sydney, yes! We are so excited to come to Sydney and start things rolling out there. We've already got some amazing presenters on the ground there. So the date is the 14th of August. If you are in Sydney and you want to join the Australian Anti-Ice Campaign family and team, please give us a call or email us on our website. The website is www.australianantiicecampaign.org.au. There is a tab there that says volunteer with us. Please contact us and we'll send you the details of where we're meeting on Tuesday the 14th of August. It'll be at 6 p.m. So send us an email and we'll send you the details of where that's going to be, and we're really, really excited to get things happening in Sydney. We have the Rotary Club and we have a few organisations joining forces there with us in the fight against ice. So together we can achieve more, and we are putting the freeze on ice in our nation. Couple of other dates. Oh, before I go on to other dates, breathe. We're getting some memorabilia. What do you reckon?
Pretty good.
Looks alright, except I can't see because my fringe is too long. But we are going to be having some caps soon with Australian Anti-Ice Campaign on it. This is a staff one. We'll be having some Neo caps and Don't Mess with Mess. So the guys here tonight are wearing our AIC Not Even Once t-shirt. Well done, guys. I didn't even have time to get changed tonight, so I'm really sorry. And you can get these t-shirts on our website, www.australianantiicecampaign.org.au, and all proceeds from your purchase of the t-shirt goes back to help educate and raise awareness to youth in schools about the dangers of ice, and other drugs. So very, very soon we're going to have some caps available and a couple of other little special treats available on the website. So I'm so excited. So
good quality shirts.
They are good quality shirts, aren't they? And they look really smart. And on the back it's just got the little logo on the back. And you're standing for something, yeah? You're standing against the dangers of ice. We're having technical difficulties, okay? I can hear myself talking in two places. That's not good. Guys, don't forget, this show is about education and awareness, and I really urge you to share this page and these posts, because you don't know who's out there that needs to hear this message. And that, just to give you an example, last week we had 3 people contact us within half an hour of the show ending and to reach out for help and wanting recovery. That is what we're about. We're here, one, to educate, raise awareness, but we also, as people who've been through that, want to help the next person to come out of that dark place. And we buddy up with people that are ready to make that change in their life and hold their hand and show them the way. So if you're out there and you are struggling with addiction and you're entrapped in that place, we urge you to contact us. The number here at the head office is 0756656063, and we will connect you with your state office and with a buddy to be able to help you make that plan and the first steps into recovery. So I ask you to share this post, and we have a library of Let's Talk About ICE on YouTube as well, other segments that we've had, and I ask you to share those segments with youth, with people that get them to understand that it's not a joke. You know, embarking on this journey of ice addiction, it only ends up in destruction, and you know the final end result for people who make that choice. You know, a very small percentage come out. If you don't come out, you end up in mental health institutes, you end up in prison, or you end up dead. And that's not what we want, you know, for our loved ones and for our community. And the problem seems to be getting worse. We need something radically different. And we're proposing, what we've been doing is lived experience, educating about the dangers of the drug ice. So, going back to our dates and events, and I'm looking on the ground here because my hippocampus, you know, look at the good. We have Melbourne on the 1st of September. We have an amazing gala ball taking place. Now, I have to get all this right. We've got performers, Stilettos. They're going to be dancing and performing there. They're an amazing group of dancers, and they've already put out a video on our Facebook page talking about the dangers of ice and why they're supporting the cause. So they'll be performing there. We have an MC called Simon McCuskey, is that how I say it? Yay! Simon McCuskey, thank you so much for joining us. He's our MC for the evening. We have the band STTA, Star, the band, and we are so excited because they're going to be playing there live for us, and I've heard them play before, so I'm getting my dancing shoes on. I suggest you get your ticket because they're selling really, really fast, and all proceeds go back to helping educate youth in Victoria about the dangers of ice. So if you're in Victoria, you need to get your ticket because you're going to have a fun night out. I'm going to be there, and we're going to put our dancing shoes on. There's going to be entertainment. Who else is there? WKBF Victorian Pro Champion Jaden Wright. Thank you, Jaden. I really look forward to giving you a big hug and to having a great night with you, all in the name of education and awareness for ARC. We have comedian Joe White. Joe, I love you. I can't wait to see you. Joe's a long-time friend of mine and very, very funny. And if you love comedy, it's clean, but it's hilarious. You'll be on the edge of your seat. So can't wait to see you, Joe. So that's Melbourne wrapped up. We're really looking forward to it. You can get tickets on our webpage in the events section. You can also go onto our Facebook page in the event section. There's Eventbrite tickets you can purchase there. And yeah, all goes towards the cause. So I'm excited about that. The very next thing, before that September, and I should have gone into that first, guys, we have the inaugural bike show and shine. The Chariots of Light on the Gold Coast are putting this together. So it is on our webpage. We, in support of Ice Awareness for Australian Anti-Ice Campaign, there's been months of work put into this day. It starts at 9:30 and it goes till 3 p.m. on Saturday the 18th of August. It's held at Burleigh Town Tavern in the car park there. There's going to be, I believe, hundreds of bikes. Hundreds of bikes, motorbikes,
shiny bikes.
Wow! I can't wait because all the bikers are getting together, and there's going to be, 20 categories or 20. I think it's gone up. They've got trophies for the best bike and the most inventive bike and the shiniest bike and the fattest wheel bike, and yeah, it's going to be lots of fun. We've got people's first choice, best American bike, the best paint, the best engineered, the best vintage, plus many more. We also have live music, so we have a sausage sizzle, and we've got lots of prizes and raffles as well, and some free giveaway bags as well. The cost for entry is $10, and for families is $20. It starts at 9:30, so please make your way down to Burleigh Town Tavern, and that's in Township Drive, Burleigh Heads. It's going to be an amazing day, and we're really looking forward to sharing that day with you. So if you're on the Gold Coast, Come down to Burleigh on August the 18th for the bike show the Chariot's putting on. It's going to be lots of fun. Bring your family, yeah, because it is a fun day. There's sausage chisels, there's drinks, there's bands, there's prizes and raffles, and some amazing bikes to look at. So we're really looking forward to meeting you. And all proceeds do go to help educate our youth on the dangers of ice. So I really look forward to seeing you there. I'm interested in seeing who's going to turn up. So to all my friends out there on Facebook, help support the cause. You know my story, you know how dangerous this drug is, and I urge you from the bottom of my heart to help us educate other youth on the dangers of ice. Great. The other 2 dates very quickly, we have Cairns Community Forum on the 22nd of August. If you are in Cairns, we are sending out invitations. We're having a community forum on the dangers of ice, not to just talk about the problem, but with a solution. Yeah, what we're rolling out, Australian Anti-Ice Campaign, along with other organisations that we've joined forces with, are rolling out 14 programs across Australia. We want you to know about them. We want you to be educated on the dangers of ice. Yeah, we are also holding a community forum in Mareeba on the 23rd of August. All the details, guys, time and tickets. It's free, a free event. Tickets need to be registered for on our Facebook in the events section, or you can call our head office on 0756656063. And in Adelaide, Ice and Other Drugs Forum on the 28th of August. So there's a few community forums coming up alongside of those those 3 forums in the States. We're rolling out school programs, and we also do work in prisons, in child safety with frontline workers, police, and I think in September we're back out in central Queensland as well with Queensland Health and police and so forth. So that's all the updates from me. Okay, I need a drink. And on the couch tonight, there was something else I had to share. The band, who's the band? We've got some bands, Leanne, at the bike show.
We do? Okay, that's cool.
We'll come back with the details of the bands, because I've heard them play. I just can't remember my hippocampus in a Wakatugood, but I have heard them play and they are amazing. Glenn, do you remember the names of the band? Okay, we'll get that back to you. We'll get back to you on that. Can you have a look for the name of the bands? I'm so sorry, that's terrible. I should have written them down. But we are human, yeah. So the effects of ice keeps coming back. I'm kidding, guys. On the couch tonight, like I said, we are talking to Chaney and Steve, and we are honoured to have them join our family at Australian Anti-Ice Campaign. So thanks, guys, so much for coming on the show. This is a conversation, and it's a conversation with you out there about the dangers of ice and other drugs and where this can lead you. So Chaney, I guess your journey, you started out, using drugs a little bit young, and you have shared. When I met you, things were quite messy. I'd really love to know how all this started.
Originally, I started pretty early. I was always sort of doing ecstasy and speed, marijuana, coke. I tried pretty much everything, but I didn't feel a need to continue on from it. Like I could just have it as a party drug.
Yep.
And just once a month or whatever, whenever it was sort of handy. And so I had to dabble in a lot of things, but I didn't really get hooked. Or I did them every now and again, but not on a frequent basis.
Mm-hmm.
But meth's completely different. I'm very embarrassed from a lot of things I've done on it. From the moment I really took it, I got hooked straight away.
tuna smoke or?
Yeah, I
fish
smoked
up?
it at first.
Yep.
And but even from then, like that was one like midweek on an afternoon, and I tried it, and then just things you cover for yourself in every aspect, like why aren't you at work, or why are you not sleeping, why are you not eating, why this, and you're just constantly hiding stuff from people, and a lot of them are your loved ones. You push everyone away that mean anything to you, because you don't want to show any. You know what you're doing is wrong, and when you're in that state, you don't want to admit it.
Yeah.
So you do everything to hide it, and cover up what you're doing. Yeah.
So somebody offered you a pipe and said just try some of this, and you know you'd already kind of tried other drugs. So what was the thought behind that for you? You know, when your mate offered you a pipe, like what did you think?
Why not?
Yep.
Yeah.
Did you know anything about it?
No,
Did you know what it was?
Nothing. Yeah, I just sort of smokable speed.
Yep.
I tried speed before and not felt anything like that. Speed just gets you going, and you feel like, no, not invincible, but you feel just like you got energy that you don't have normally. Whereas ice is, it's way different.
Yeah. And the thing is, guys, you know, all drugs have consequences. You know, from prescribed drugs, they have side effects. You know, if you excessively drink alcohol, you have side effects. If you take, you know, other drugs, there is psychosis and you know, long-term brain destruction. We're not really geared to, you know, to be made to put that in our body, but what we're saying is that, you know, long-term use of other drugs as well, you know, can really do some damage. They are doorways, though, to heavier drugs, and like Chaney, we're here talking about ice tonight specifically, and what we are finding is that, you know, the strength and the purity of this drug on our streets today is just so high, and that means that, like a concentration, for example, that it straight away hijacks the frontal lobe of the brain and starts to break down the neurological pathways in the brain. And very, very quickly, this drug takes control and is in charge and not the person anymore. With other drugs, there is a, you know, a delay. Perhaps you might have a gateway of, you know, well, you know, you don't know when somebody's going to go into psychosis from marijuana, or, you know, when they're going to have kidney failure from alcohol or anything like that. But what I'm saying generally is, you know, if they try other party drugs and other drugs, it's a longer process. With ice, it hits straight away, and straight away the person is hijacked. So, you know, all choices we make and what we're going to put into our body has consequences, and we're here to highlight those consequences with ice. So, Chaney's here sharing, and I know we've been asked to up the volume on, because we're quite a distance away. A friend offered him some ice in a pipe, and he started off like that, and pretty much it took hold of him pretty much straight away. And so did you end up like shooting up and?
Well, I went
as well,
from like, you know, once or twice a week using it.
Yep.
To, yeah, every day.
And I guess, I don't know about you, Chaney, but you know, most people go, you're handed a pipe, and it's not like a needle going in your arm.
Well, you don't think it's, like, to be honest, you don't think it's that harmful.
Yeah.
You think like, oh, it's just if it's smokable, it's not that bad.
And that's the deception out there. Yeah. And the different colours and forms that it comes in.
Yeah. It didn't matter really what colour it had. It all got me. Yeah.
So after it hijacks the brain, you're not really processing logic, rational decisions. So you're not no longer going, oh, what is that, and what colour is that, and what am I putting in my body, because your brain's not working.
Not at all.
So you're just downing this stuff because, you know, you need it to not go down into that hell of a spiral. So, Chaney, what happened? So you've had that first pipe, you know, you've started using, and what happened from there? What did this drug, you know, where did this take you? What kind of person did you become? And
I was painting. I've been painting now for about 12 years, and done my apprenticeship. Had a good upbringing. Like I had the best family, you know.
Well, we've had the opportunity to meet
just-
your dad. Steve will get to talk in a minute. He's an awesome guy, and Wendy out there as well.
Yeah. Hey, Mum.
That's a love.
And
Should be proud of him.
yeah, just you can't even describe how much it takes from you.
Yeah.
It went from like you said when I tried it to not just, you know, trying it and feeling the effect. I needed it.
Yep.
And I did anything I had to get it.
Yep.
Simple. Doesn't matter whether it was crime, fighting, anything.
It's like air, guys, and I've explained this on the show before. You know, if I cut off your air supply, what will you do to take the next breath? And that's what the desperation of somebody entrapped in this ice world, as I call it, it feels like, doesn't it? You'll just
Makes you feel like you can't live without it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
like you can't function. You don't have the energy to get up. Like works. Once you get properly hooked, work's not even an option.
Yeah. How
Yeah.
quickly did you go to that place, Chaney? Like, did you stop work?
Yeah, I lasted a few months at least, maybe 6 months on working
Yep.
with it.
Yep.
And then it turns from, you know, $100, $200 a week
Yep.
to just your whole pay you spend on it.
Yep.
And then gets to the point where you're spending more than you pay.
Yep.
You're spending other people's money.
Yep.
And then I eventually got to a point where I had to distribute it,
Yep.
and that got me in a lot of trouble.
And it doesn't, you don't start off in life, you know, picking up that first pipe that somebody's offered you thinking, you know, I'm going to become a drug addict, I'm going to be an ice addict, and, you know, I'm going to be a dealer. And, you know, it's a series of things that happen that leads you to become that person, and that leads you to do those things. You know, you don't wake up one morning and, you know, at 13 and go, okay, when I grow up I'm going to be a prostitute, you know, or I'm going to be a drug dealer, and you know, I'm going to bash people and, you know, kill people and hurt people, and, you know, that's not what we think. You know, that's not what people who you know, get engaged in this lifestyle, you know, they're people like us, they're people like you, you know, they're people like Chaney and like Steve. It's a lack of knowledge of what is about to happen the minute you pick up that pipe, and that's what we're trying to get the message out there. This is a doorway to hell, you know, and it is an entrapment. It's deception at its best, you know. And today what they're doing, Chaney, and I'm like, I'm so angry about this because they're lacing marijuana with ice.
Yeah, well, when you told me that the other day, that was the first time I ever heard it. And I mean, it's shocking,
Yeah.
but I'm not really shocked by it
Mm.
because, you know, I've seen some stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's cruel.
Tell us about tell us about that journey. What was that like, Chaney? I know it's hard to talk about it because you are in early stages of recovery, and to walk back down that path. But you know, you're in a safe environment here. I really want people to understand, and if there's a kid out there and he's seen somebody use ice and they think, oh, it's not a big deal, I've seen somebody use it, and you know, everybody's carrying on about it. I want you to paint a picture of you know, what that hell was like for you. And you know, we were talking about the psychosis attached to that. I want them to know that if they're going to say yes to this drug, how is that going to be?
End up. We'll put it this way, I went from working every day, on the point of starting, well, I had started my own business sort of thing, to not working, selling drugs. I spent nearly 2 years in jail.
The Was that for trafficking or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
or
did you-
possession.
Yeah.
Just getting caught with it on me all
Yeah.
the time.
Yeah.
Drug driving,
Yeah.
heaps of stuff. You just don't have a care when
Yeah.
you're on it. You don't care if you get done. I didn't give a shit about anything.
Yeah.
And that's what I loved.
Mm.
You know, that's what. Normally in life, you got things to deal with like bills, problems, emotions. On that, you don't have anything.
But how many more problems did that bring to your life, Chaney? I remember when when we met, your life wasn't rosy. You know what I mean?
It's still not rosy.
But you got a smile on your face.
Yeah,
hey?
it's getting better.
Yeah, every day.
Slowly, yeah. It just pushes your problems aside. Makes your perception on life numb.
Yeah.
So that you don't feel or you don't care about any consequences or anything. You push all the important things aside and you don't deal with them.
Yeah.
And when it comes time to deal with them, it hits you pretty hard.
Yeah.
Really
It all
hard.
comes tumbling down, doesn't it? Like a ton of bricks, because you haven't dealt with what you needed to. The easy way that I'll put it in a classroom when we're going to schools is, if you think you're taking drugs to to mask your problems and to numb you, mate, this drug is going to bring you problems you never imagined possible.
It's the creator of problems.
Hey, like you have no idea. I'm talking like, permanent problems like memory issues, like heart problems, like vascular. We've had some of our presenters have had brain hemorrhages from this drug, and some have even passed away. Even in recovery, because the heart can't cope. My kidneys bleed. There's all these things. You don't need it.
Yeah, I had no health problems at all before I started.
Yeah.
And I ended up, like when I was in jail, I wrote to a company that put you on a program which was called Suboxone. But so when I got out of jail, I got put straight on a program, which was a lot more. Long story short, I got a habit when I was in jail for Suboxone, and we were shooting it up. And I wrote to them inside jail, so when I got out, I got on a course of it instantly the day I got out.
Wow.
And the amount I was having in jail, I was unaware of. I was just being done up, and it was like just say 1 to 30 of what I got, like given the first day I got out.
Wow.
And I had 30. Well, I'm pretty sure this is what happened. And within the first week of me getting out, I had a seizure.
Wow.
That was there. I was in a coma for 10 days. Had multiple organ failure. They even told mum and dad in a meeting and stuff that there wasn't much chance of me surviving.
Wow.
It's pretty full.
It's pretty hectic. Steve, watching your son, that happen with your son, and, not having, watching your son destroy himself, and must have been a really hard place. How did you get through that?
Yeah, I sort of, at the time was parenting from afar, let's say.
Yeah.
Because, as you said before, Chaney's got a beautiful mum up in Cairns, and his other dad as well, who virtually physically saved his life that particular day. He had the seizure.
Dad did,
But it's like, I just can't explain how emotional it was for, I was up there as soon as I could, once I knew. And those 11 days he was in induced coma for was just, we were gathering around there every day. His mum, brother, older brother, and every other relation that was available. And we were talking, what could possibly happen. The doctors give us lowdowns, and it wasn't too good an outcome at that stage. It's amazing that he's actually pulled through, and he's still functioning. Really, it's just
By the
amazing.
grace of God.
It's just,
And Dad,
Thank God.
Dad in Cairns, if he wasn't there, like when I dropped, I'm pretty sure I had a shot of it.
Yeah.
And I don't remember the thing.
Yeah.
I remember the morning. But Dad found me unconscious, not breathing, and he mouth to mouth resuscitated me,
Wow.
pulled me back to life while Mum was on the phone and see ambos.
You know, this is a horrific journey that, you know, your choices out there, if you decide to say yes to this drug, it impacts not only your life, but everybody around you, your parents who, you know, brought you up, nurtured you, loved you, and you know, have seen you blossom into the human being that you've become, and you're destroying yourself, you know, and Chaney almost lost his life, you know, that's, so Steve, you know what blew me away was, you know, when we first came in here, and just finding out what you actually did after that, and you know how you immersed yourself into. I've got to get knowledge about this. If I'm going to help my son, I need to know everything there is to know about this drug and how I can help. And I was just like, wow, I wish every parent would do that, you know. And I know Wendy, you know, I've been up to Cairns, she's part of our Cairns team. So Wendy, I wish you were here on the couch with us, because I know how much tears when we first met that you cried, but you know, now the tears of joy of seeing your son smile the way he has, and I'm just like stoked that, you know, he can join us in this fight against ice, you know, and blow me away. Like, it's a different person, you know. So we look forward to doing life together and walking this journey. But and I know the heartache that you went through, must have gone through, you know, to see that happening. So what the knowledge that you got helped you understand what Chaney was going through?
I actually read a book. I bought a book. I was flying to the Philippines actually, and I bought a book at the airport before taking off, sort of thing, and I didn't even know what book I was going to buy. It's usually sports for me, but I saw this book called Ice Nation, written by Jason Bray, who was a detective on the border of New South Wales and Victoria, and it just amazed me, and it made me understand a lot more of what actually goes on, and you know, how this ridiculous drug
I couldn't believe how much you do, like,
affect people.
yeah.
Yeah, so you know, that and anything else I can learn helps understand, and I think people need to know. Everybody really needs to know a lot more of what this thing's doing to our kids in our country, not just our kids, but our population.
Yeah.
You blew me away. I think you said the other day was 27 people a day.
27 youth a day are becoming ice addicts, and that, Steve, is you know, that's just our youth, and that is 2015 based you know, evidence that we've compiled.
It's worse now.
It's much worse. We're in 2018. There was a 480% increase in meth found in the wastewater in the last 6 years.
Well, they've found it at primary schools.
Yeah.
Like, that's
8-year-old.
8 years old, up
8 years
North
old.
Queensland, and 10 years old. It's in primary school, guys. And you know, the thing is, not only we're finding marijuana being laced with ice, we're finding you know, party pills, ecstasies, and MDMAs. They're being cut with ice. We're also finding, we've heard and seen reports within schools of little pink teddy bear looking like they look like lollies, and they've been injected with a bit of meth. And I'm like, what would they do that for? Well, they're giving them out to the girls and saying you can lose a bit of weight, 4 kilos in a weekend, and you know, you're going to have a great time. They don't know any different, and you know, it hijacks their brain. They're using them, prostituting them, you know, getting them to traffic, all kinds of things.
It starts the want, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And they feel like they can't live without it,
Yeah.
and it's all over them.
That's it.
If you don't have the support there, you just won't make it.
Yeah.
Simple.
And the problem is that a lot of people don't have the support, and that's what we're about, guys. We are here to help not only families that, you know, when you find out that your loved one's using a drug like ice, what do? What do you say? You need knowledge, you need tools. Like Steve said, you know, he immersed himself in a book, and he needed to get as much information. Then went online and he learnt stuff. And Chaney say he was shocked at how much he knew.
Well, yeah, we were driving one day and he's just like, oh yeah, you know this and that's about, you know, and I can't remember what you said, but I was like, what the fuck? How do you know this thing? How do you even know that? You know?
Well,
How did you come so
it was
knowledgeable?
unbelievable.
I understand that's why. Simple
But
as
it's,
that.
it's great.
But you can
I-
communicate with him then because you understand what's happening in here.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, at the
You know, I just thank God that there's AAIC and people like Andrea, Glenn, and everybody who in this particular association in places like Munya, where you can get help,
Yep.
and you don't have to be alone. You know,
No.
there's a lot of people think they're alone. There's help out there.
Yep.
There's people who want to care, and there's you just got to speak up.
Yeah, absolutely,
Somebody
and it's not shameful. You know, it happens to anyone. It happened to me at 40. Yeah, it happened to Chaney. How old were you, Chaney?
I'm 30. I'm 33 now, so
Yeah.
probably 29, 28.
28. How long? That's 35. That's 5 years. You were entrapped in that.
Yeah, in the
Yes.
cycle,
Yeah.
probably
Yeah.
4 years.
Yeah.
I spent nearly 2 years in jail.
Wow.
And
And you were getting it in there. You were getting
Nah,
No?
but I was,
getting other stuff.
yeah, Suboxone.
Yeah. I don't know much about that one. You know, I've only.
Suboxone, yeah, it's a synthetic opiate.
Yep.
That it's a downer.
Hmm.
That makes you stoned.
Yeah.
And yeah, I got pretty hooked on that. That's what happened when I in coma.
Wow. Wow. And you know, this is just some of the. I call it a hamburger with a lot. If you're going to take ice, you're going to get, you know, you're going to get paranoia, psychosis, polyusing, brain hemorrhage, heart problems, kidney problems. Like, you can't just say, excuse me, I skipped the heart damage. You can't. It's not like a hamburger that you can take parts out of. You get the lot, and that's the journey you're embarking on when you say yes to this drug. So our message out there is not even once. Don't touch it. It's not worth it. You know, curiosity, problems we can overcome. Curiosity, you don't need curiosity. We can tell you where you're going, and it's not a pretty place. So if you're a family out there and you need some support, you are not alone. It's not shameful, okay? We're here to help. The number that you can call is head office at 0756656063. And we can hook you up with your local family support group there. Or you can call our family support number on 0481 844 555 if you'd like to speak to somebody online or over the phone straight away. So and do one-on-ones. So yeah, please get in contact with us if you're a family. If you're somebody that is struggling with addiction, you don't need to be there alone. Yeah, a lot of times people alienate their families and they push them away. In Chaney's case, Chaney had an incredible, loving family, and he was blessed with 2 dads.
Yeah.
Wow, cool. And you know, they just kept at him. And what was some of the things that Mum like? What was she doing?
Oh, that was only from I love you, Mum, but yeah, very persistent mother.
Yes.
She was sending me a message every day. I just wouldn't answer her.
What would she say in the messages?
I mean, at the start, from all my family, I got negativity.
Yep.
I got like, what the fuck are you doing? Pull your head in. Like, what's going on? Where are you? What are you doing? What are you spending all your money on? You know. And then it got to
Because they didn't understand,
No, they didn't
and they're
have
just
no
going,
idea.
get yourself together.
Yeah. Because you wouldn't rock up to things that you're supposed to be at.
Yeah.
You weren't at things at a time you're never punctual.
Well, there's
You're
there's no time in Ice World. you get entrapped in this one thing that you're doing, and 2 days later you're like, oh, I was supposed to have a shower. You know, it's ridiculously funny. I'm not laughing because it's a funny thing. It's stupid funny that we've been there, you know, and wasted 4 years, 5 years of your life, and lucky to be out.
Yeah, I'd just like to say, like, don't ever think you can do it once and get away with it, or if I just have a little bit here and there, I'm gonna lose a bit of weight and everything will be mad.
Yeah.
I'll just do it at work and I'll be able to do more work or anything. Don't let your mind bloody convince itself that it's easy and good to do it, because it ain't. I tried everything. I tried everything you can think of. Do it at work, do it after work, do it, whilst, whatever. It won't work. Nothing good will ever come from it at all. You won't be financially rich. Your teeth don't get better. You don't get better looking. Everything goes downhill, trust me. And I'd like to put that out to the youths. Not only just youths.
Yeah, everyone.
Like adults don't know about it as well.
No.
Like everyone. Just take it from I'll be the example of what not to do.
Yeah.
So
That's awesome. Thanks, Chaney.
I stuffed up, but just don't you, so.
Not even once is our message, eh? I want to ask you something about your psychosis. Okay, hold on. Pause, commercial break. We have a question. What did you do when Mum always phoned? What did you do?
Didn't answer. Or
Did you hear her messages? Did you read it?
I didn't have a message.
Did you read her texts and stuff?
I read it.
Mm.
Yeah, I definitely read them. But yeah, it was like I say, you push everything that means anything to you away.
Yeah.
The furthest way, the better, because you don't have to admit what you're doing.
Yep.
But I did that with Mum, Dad, everyone.
Yeah.
I mean, to have your own mother and father ring you in tears, it's quite touching.
Yeah.
At the time you feel like, I don't need this shit. Like, I've got so many things to do. I'm late. But it's just, it hurts now.
Yeah.
To think of it like that. But I mean, I wish I had listened earlier.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be who I am today without it.
Yeah.
So I feel like I've gone through my struggles for a reason, and I'm going to be the best I can be from now.
Yeah, coming out the other end, mate.
Yeah.
So I want to, that's just pretty much it. I wouldn't be who I am today without it.
Yeah.
So all my mistakes and all the shit I've been through make me who I am.
You know what, Chaney? Everybody deserves a second chance, and you really done a 180, and you've gone, I don't want that life anymore, and you've taken the steps. You've had a lot of help, but you've actually gone, I'm not doing that life anymore. I need help, and you've taken the steps when to step into recovery, and you're doing the work, and this is what.
Yeah, it takes work.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Every day.
Put it this way, after being in a coma, my parents, family, everyone being bedside for 11 days, doctors saying to me that, like, the shit's not going to recover just like that. You won't be able to drink again, you won't be able to do anything again.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to have to be on a scheduled diet, everything's healed from without scarring. I've been so lucky.
Yeah.
It's not funny.
Blessed.
Had some help.
Still, after that, I thought I was sweet. I lasted 12 months nearly without it, and I still got on it again.
Yeah.
So it took about a hold.
Yeah.
You've had your life nearly taken away from you. All these medical facts of what is going to happen, and I still went out and did it.
And Chaney, what's different now for you?
Wanting it.
Yeah.
I wanted it before, but I don't know. It's just that now I don't want to live my life like that anymore. Just full stop.
Yeah.
And I don't want to put my family through it.
Yeah.
I can't even fathom. I've had a pretty emotional ride myself through jail and all fathom what my parents would have been going through, because God, I put them through a lot.
But you know what?
And yeah,
They're smiling today. You know, they really are. And your mum, just there was a message there. Your mum is so proud of you.
yeah,
You know?
it's
And you know, I've seen your
I'm
dad
proud of
smile.
that.
I've seen you smile. You know, and this is what we're talking about. And it gets better from glory to glory. It gets better every day. You know, I know I've been walking it for 6 years. It's not easy, guys. You know, it's not easy. Getting away from the entrapment of vice addiction is probably one of the hardest things that I've ever had to do. And I know, you know, walk out of, you know, you need help. You can't do it on your own. It is a process. You need to, you know, to go and unpack all of that. You need to deal with all the consequences of you know, what you've been, what you've done. You're not that person. That's what happened. And you can let go and move forward into the person that you were meant to be and you were created to be. And I know this guy's going to be an amazing presenter, and I can't wait to start working and doing some training with you.
yeah, it's good.
He's already, you know, coming in the office and got the t-shirt happening, and Steve's going to come and help as well with some family support out there, guys. So it's lived experience that actually, you know, can relate and say, this is what I did, these are the tools I used, this is how I worked through that. And like Chaney said, my mum will be on my back all the time. She'd be sending him messages and she'd be annoying him, same as some of our other presenters' mums will be, you know, chasing them around their house and peeking in their windows and writing on their walls. Carol, you know who I'm talking about. But, you know, that's what, you know, it really, be persistent. Don't give up on them. We don't love what you're doing, and we can't have that in this house. But when you're ready to change, we're here to walk with you, and we love you, and we will do whatever it takes to help you out. Because that's not who you are. You know, that's what has happened. That's what this drugs made you become. But it's not who you are. Yeah. So I'm so glad to see you back. Yeah. And I didn't know you before, but when I met you, you weren't this person. And I'm like, wow, blow me away, God. Thank you for, you know. I went, you smile amazingly, you know. And he goes, I've got something to smile about. That's what he said to me. So we're really excited, you know, to be walking with you in this family, and
Thank you for having me in it.
you know, and seeing what God has in place for us to be able to help other people not be in this place.
Thank God he's got a second life, second chance at life
That's right.
itself, and it just shows that there's hope for everybody.
Yeah.
You know.
That's right. And that's what it's about. There is hope, and you can get out. You just need to want to, and you need to connect with us. Yeah.
Just like to say too, I've been clean for 70 days now, and it wouldn't be without AAIC. The day I caught up with Glenn and DJ, who is my sponsor now, it was the day I stopped, and that was in Cairns, and Mum teed it up. She gave me Glenn's number. I rang Glenn, and he just said, I want to see you, mate. Bloke I never met in my life. I'm like, what the hell? I rock up, and there's two blokes rock up, and I just thought they're cops. Straight up.
Psychosis.
Yeah.
Paranoia, yeah.
Cops.
They're coming to get me. Thanks very much.
I'm thinking in my head,
Yeah.
cheers, Mum, thanks, up, set up, straight up. But yeah, he's a good friend of mine now, and very glad I've met him and the team.
Blessing.
Yeah, things are going really well now. Like, I don't have the dream job of my life. I'm not earning bucks through the roof. I'm not like, but I'm enjoying myself.
Yeah.
You know, I'm enjoying life.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying waking up without drugs, and like, I'll just put it out there. Like, you can. The hardest thing for me was having that thing in my life missing.
Yeah.
So that you think, what's life worth?
Purpose.
What the hell am I waking up for?
Mm.
You know, I thought, like, when you have a shot or you have drugs, you feel like you're always looking forward to the next one.
Yeah.
So when that gets taken away, it feels like you have nothing to look forward to.
Yeah.
And it makes you really depressed.
Yeah.
So that is a very big hurdle in itself.
Yeah.
And I would not have been able to be where I am today without family support.
Yeah.
100%.
So we look forward to moving forward. I want to hear just a little bit before we kind of move towards the end of the show, a little bit about, because you were telling me some stories about the psychosis, the paranoia and stuff, and you know, I want you to share a little bit of that if you don't mind, so that people out there can understand the place that you go to in this ice world, as I call it.
I remember I've got a few stories, but I'll tell you one or a couple. I remember being at Mum and Dad's place. I don't think Mum knows about this, but
Lucky ears, Wendy.
I remember being high as such, as smashed in my room, and late at night, probably 2 in the morning, whatever the time was, don't know. And I was paranoid about things being out the front of the house, and like I was peeking through me curtains of my window, thinking, what, you know, something's out there. I hear a noise, and I'm always hearing people talking. No one's out there. And then, I must have been real smashed, but I looked through the window and I seen like SWAT team coming through.
Wow.
Like, not so much the chopper, but I seen a SWAT team, like of 10 or 12, you know, SAS coming in there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I was like, fuck. I even went into the kitchen, grabbed 2 knives, like I was gearing up for war.
Yep.
And,
you see what happens?
Yeah, one of the times that happened, people were actually coming through. It was the cops.
Yep.
Because I can't remember what I didn't rock up to court. I had a warrant out, and I think I pissed dirty in my parole things.
Yep.
So they were coming to get me anyway. But I was looking out the window thinking, SWAT.
Yeah.
But it was the actual coppers, and I was hiding in the laundry with knives, ready to rock and roll. But they came in and they were, Chaney. Yeah, they got me.
Got me in trouble. But see what happens, you know, the psychosis that surrounds that lifestyle, it can be really dangerous. He picked up some knives, you know, if he's one of his family or loved ones, you know, he could have tripped and just hurt them, and not intentionally. Okay, that's not who Chaney is, and it's not in his heart. But the psychosis can make you believe things that aren't real and see things that aren't there. You know, he saw a SWAT team in the front yard. You know, it wasn't there. It was psychosis, and that's what this drug does to your brain. And it's never anything good. The psychosis is not like butterflies flying off the wall or penguins in suits or, you know, rainbows. It's all these horrific, you know, tormenting voices and fear and, you know, it's a horrible entrapment of, you know, of a hell. That's the only best way that I can explain it. And you want to get out of that. So, you know, anybody that comes around the corner could potentially, you could see the face of somebody else and think they're after you and hurt them and you know, end up hurting people that you love.
I have many like full-on punch-ons over like stuff that wasn't real.
Yeah.
Like with people, obviously, but like I thought I'd rock up to a pub or something, and I thought I'd seen someone I know that was on it as well, but I thought I'm getting set up.
Yep.
So I just wouldn't cop it.
Yep.
And it'd be on.
Yeah.
And some silly stuff, very silly when I look at it now. But you believe it at the time.
Yeah. At the time, it's very real. You know.
Just feel like reality.
Yep. It's another realm of existence, and it's not. You know, it takes over the frontal lobe of your brain, and the delusions. You know, the paranoia and anxiety, psychosis, depression, suicide, everything just tumbles down on top of you. The only way to get out of that downward spiral is to have another hit where everything gets pushed away and you're just coping, you're just existing. And not existing without the, you know, looking out the window for 2 days or, you know, pulling apart a car or many for a long time and thinking that you're the mechanic extraordinaire, or you know, repetitive, compulsive actions and things that you do throughout the day that mean nothing, and it's just an absolute waste of time and a waste of a life. you know. Meanwhile, you're putting inside your body, whichever way you take it, it actually affects your brain the same way, whether you smoke it, inject it, pop it in a pill, drink it, you know, snort it, eat it. It all ends up affecting your brain and your body internal the same way. So, you know, you're putting things like acetone and Drano into your body.
Caustic
You know,
soda.
caustic soda, you know. It's just, once we do a workshop, we list the chemicals involved in putting ice together, and people are like, what? When I first saw it in recovery, I don't know about you, Chaney, but when I first saw the chemicals, I didn't know. And I'm like, I put all of that in my body. It was like, what was I thinking? Well, I wasn't. You weren't.
Yeah, well, I had a bit of a, not a thing, but I give a couple of lads a hand a few times with the production of it, and that was eye-opening.
Yeah.
Yeah, seeing the stuff that went in it, but it still didn't.
It didn't Jerry,
At the
did it?
time, I was just like, hell yeah, this is the shit.
Yeah.
You know?
Because your
Definitely.
frontal lobe of your brain's not thinking logic, rational decisions, and that's you don't process, so you can't process. If I do this and oh look at that, that's what I'm putting in my body, therefore it's going to do this. That's not working. So I hear you, because you know I've been in, you know, cooks' houses, and you know, and I'm thinking, gee, this place is dirty, and there was stuff everywhere, and but I didn't actually the process that I'm in a place that could potentially blow up any minute because the chemicals in there, you know, this cook that is off his head and time doesn't exist, and you know they're sitting in another room hitting up, you know, could crash and this thing could blow up. Like well, there was no thought process around that. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, so you're in danger, you know, every minute, and not to mention that there's so much, you know, I'll give you an example, right? We were in Cairns and we were walking down the street, and Glenn was wearing some sunglasses, and we're going to laugh about this, but it's really like serious, right? This guy walks up to him, and I saw it coming, and he's off his head, and I'm like, okay, I turn my back, and Glenn's looking at him, and he comes over, hey bro, and you know, he's off his head, and he's like, oh, remember I gave you those sunglasses yesterday? And we're going, no, yeah, I gave it to you, but in his head, he really thinks he gave you the sunglasses. Just give him the sunglasses, man. Let him walk, right? So Glenn went, here, take the sunglasses. He loved the guy through it. But the point that I'm actually bringing up here, excuse me, remember I gave you 10 grand worth of gear? If you don't turn up with my 10 grand, I'm going to come and I'm going to chop your legs off. See, there's no logic, rational decision making that's not okay to do. And, you know, people get hurt, held at gunpoint, locked up, bashed, you know, and they don't think I'm going to end up in jail, or this is not a good thing to do. They just are thinking about, you know, they gave you 10 grand's worth of gear, or you took their car, and you haven't really, but in their mind you have. So, you know, this is what this drug takes you to, and it's a very dangerous place to live.
Yeah, well, I remember back at my old place I used to live with my girlfriend. This is off wrong accusations. I had people rock up, guns put in my head.
Wow.
I had my hand broken with a baseball bat.
Wow.
Stainless steel kettle smashed over my face. I've been ran in on by heavies. I've been smashed. But still, it doesn't make you wake up and go, oh, you know, what I'm doing's wrong. You just think of a better way to do it.
You're not thinking, you know. Chaney, I have a question to ask you. What was the turning point that, you know, I know, I realise that, you know, as an addict myself and having been in this world, you know, every week it was like, I'm never doing this again, that's it, we're stopping. And every week you're quitting, but then you don't. 3 days later you're like hitting up again, right? So
I quit any time I want to.
yeah. I haven't got a problem, but I'll quit next week. You know, this is the last time. I'm not doing this anymore. And so there's a series of time that you kind of have had enough, and you're contemplating change, but you don't actually go there. What was the turning point for you that actually changed everything?
be hitting, like I've hit bottom before, and you know I've had nothing. I've lived on the streets. I've fought for food. But you don't know bottom until you hit it. Like I'm talking where you don't have anyone to turn to. You can't turn to your parents, your real mates. No one's there when you don't have any gear. Like you don't have a car, you don't have food, you don't have clothes, you have nowhere to turn. You can't sit. Like I had a phone and I remember looking at my contacts, and there wasn't a person on there that I didn't owe money to or could not turn to. Like they either were pissed at me or I owed them money.
And
Or
I remember when we met at that point, and you know, your mum was she was over here, and she, you know, on the outside, and absolutely a distraught mess. You know, she was in fear for her son's life. I haven't seen him for ages, and crying, and she was so hurting, but and she just wanted you to come home. You know, I haven't seen him. I wish he'd come home. But I remember when we met, you said, no, that's not an option. You know, you didn't want to hurt your mum.
I knew how much I was hurting her.
Yeah.
Already.
Yeah.
And the reality was, I just kept using to numb it.
Yeah. But you blocked her out. You wouldn't go to her for help because.
No, hell no. Because my pride, my self-worth, it just wasn't gonna happen. I couldn't. I could walk in the door, Mum would be like, "You're on it. You haven't slept. You haven't eaten." You know, like instantly.
Yeah.
I couldn't physically face her because I knew she'd know what I've been going through.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to show her what I've been going through because it'd wreck up.
Yeah.
And Dad's the same, you know. Like Dad would call me in tears.
Yeah.
I hadn't seen Dad cry pretty much in my life until I got on the eyes.
Yeah.
And he'd ring me bellowing in tears, and just I'd be like, you know, stop the call.
Yeah.
And you know, have 2 minutes to like think about it, and like I'll be tearing up, and then I just think, fucking, you know, I'm just gonna go and have a big shot, and just, you know, people are getting wrecked today.
Yeah.
You know, you wanna rip me off. Like, well, I'll just channel it in a different way,
different direction,
it'd be tenfold.
And that's what happens, you know, if you're a loved one that, if your loved one is using, and you've lost connection with them, that is what's going on inside for them. You know, they're ashamed. They want to block it out. They don't want you to experience that journey, and you know, you isolate. This is a very isolating drug. And I remember when I first started sharing my story, people would say, "Oh, have you got pictures of when you were partying on drugs?" I went, "You don't understand this drug at all. It's not a party drug. You might go out and have a pipe and think that's what's going to happen, but that's not what's going to happen. You're actually going to isolate yourself, you know, to an emptiness, to, you know, a room where you have nothing, and it's a downward spiral into hell and an entrapment." I remember once I thought I was locked up in a prison, and I couldn't leave the room, and I was like, no, it was horrible, man. And I was like crying, and I'm thinking, I'm in prison, it was really real for me, you know, and I couldn't see a way out, you know, and it's like being in a room without any doors or windows, you know, and it's a real entrapment, and it's not a party drug, and it's not fun. Yeah, this life is not fun. Take it from us, you know.
It's very antisocial.
Yeah.
But when I was at my happiest on the drug, I was either alone or with like a girl.
Yeah.
You know, and that's it.
Yeah.
And you're only happy if you were on, and you had gear and money.
Yeah.
So if you didn't have gear or money, she wasn't there for one, and you just weren't happy.
But it's a temporary happy, you know, Chaney, because it's a fake happiness, and it's just that.
In 24 hours or 4 hours, 2 hours, whatever from there, things can just flip completely.
That's right. You'd be punching on, you'd hate the world, you're in depression, thinking about killing yourself. It's just not it's not a good place to be.
Yeah.
All right, we've got Chaney's future plans.
Well, definitely AOSE is one of them.
Awesome.
Not one of them, it's my main one. Yeah, I want to train up with you guys, be a presenter.
Yep.
I want to just get my message, my story, my life, everything out to you guys, and just don't do what I did. It's not worth it. And yeah, if you can see any of the pain or hear any of the pain I've been through, just don't fucking do it.
Yeah.
Don't. Nothing good comes from it ever. I'm going to be training with these guys to be a presenter, go to schools, rehabs, prisons, everywhere.
Workplaces.
Visiting.
Workplaces.
Visiting this
Yeah,
club, that's right, Steve.
I
It's
want to
so
know a
cute.
few faces. Nah, but I mean, yeah, I can't even put it into words. Like, to have a future's pretty cool.
Yeah,
You know,
that's awesome.
let alone to plan one.
Yeah.
So I'm open arms. I'm a sponge to knowledge. I'm ready to take it all. You know, and thrive off positivity, not negativity.
And be the amazing human being that you were created to be.
Yeah.
Okay, this guy shines so much love coming out of him, and it's just, you're going to make an amazing buddies as well for people out there that are struggling, because you've been there, and you can go, come on, well, get out.
Yeah, I reckon helping others will help me.
Yeah,
You know.
that's right.
So even little work I've done, not work, but stuff I've done with you guys,
Yeah.
makes me feel better. You know, going to meetings and stuff, and
Yep.
speaking out at NA meetings, and you know, I feel it as though it's like a what would I say, reward for someone to ask me to get up and have a talk.
Yep.
Like at a meeting and stuff, because if you don't, the one you don't get up and talk to is the one, maybe one person in the room, but maybe half of them listen.
Yep.
You know, and I know from being on the other side, sitting on the seat, listening to people going, you know, I've been through this, I've been through that. Like some stories make mine look pissant. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been through some shit, but god damn, you know, like a lot of them have been suicidal, attempted to commit suicide several times.
Yeah.
And some of their attempts have been, you know, I'm lucky enough in a way I was suicidal, I suppose, because I didn't want to live.
Yeah.
But I wasn't to the point where I was trying to take my own life.
But you didn't care if,
Oh, hell no.
whatever you took, if it took your life at the same time, because you don't have control of this drug. It controls you, every being, your spirit, soul and body. It just takes over, and it's the darkest place that one could imagine. I remember once, Chaney, I stopped for a moment, and I kind of, for a second, I came out of that ice world brain.
Shell.
Yeah, and I went, man, this is like hell. This is like, if I had to be in hell, I reckon this will all be happening in hell. And what was happening around me, that it really scared me. But it was just for a second, and then I went back into that realm. Had another fight for.
There's a couple times there where I like took a step outside what I was doing,
Yeah.
and I was like, what the fuck am I doing here?
Yeah.
Like, what
You
am I
don't
doing
belong
here?
there.
Honestly, what am I doing here?
Yeah.
I'm going through just proper emotional pain.
Yeah.
Thinking, my life's fucked.
Yeah.
And I was still just sitting there going, oh well, I'll just cop more of it.
Yeah.
Like, you fucking idiot.
Yeah, you haven't got control. That's it. Steve, we have a question for you. If you had to give some advice to a parent out there with a child or an adult,
Yeah.
son, daughter on the gear.
Just in my experience, I think that the best advice personally is to support any children you might have that you think may be using or associates with people who use, and seek some help, because there's a lot of hope. You know, Chaney's an example. I'm so proud of him, and I'm going to continue to be proud of him and watch his progress. But yeah, seek help is the main thing, I would say, and you know, try and understand that they're all good people under there. It doesn't matter what they've done, what they've done. You know, they're good people. They're still good people. They've just got to be brought back out again.
That's it.
They need help.
I think when you read those books meant a lot.
Yeah.
Because the shit that you knew that I didn't think you knew.
Yeah. It certainly helps you understand more literature or more. You can read about it, but you know, if it's just a new thing, seek help.
Awesome.
To these guys.
We have a family support number that you can call. You can contact us off our website www.australianantiicecampaign.org.au, or you can give us a call at head office 0756656063, and we'll connect you with your state office. And there's teams in Victoria, Adelaide, Cairns, and Gold Coast, obviously, and very, very soon in Sydney. So we're really excited to be able to grow that team there. And it's, you know, here to help you. We are all volunteers. There is, you know, we can go away and go forget that life ever existed. But it is what we've been through that we can actually turn around and use for good, to help humanity, to stop this scourge, to stop this epidemic, to stop this you know, drug that is stealing, killing and destroying lives out there. And you know, in unity we can actually have a very strong voice, presence, and you know, raise awareness and educate and help other people out of that place. So if you are in any of those states and you want to join our team, please get in touch with us. In that we have a volunteer button on our webpage. But if you're a family out there that's struggling with a loved one in addiction, please get in touch with us. We'll connect you with your family support group. And if you're somebody in addiction, what do you have to say for somebody that's entrapped in this world is watching?
Well, in addiction now.
Yeah, because people that, you know, we've had people in addiction watching.
It is possible to want to better yourself, and it is possible to wake up and have a bloody awesome day without gear.
Yeah.
Life is happy without it, and a lot happier than when you're on it. And it is possible. Like, don't ever think you can't do it.
Yeah.
I'm not at the end of my road yet. I've got a lot of road to travel. But if I'm feeling this good now, like, how good am I going to feel? You know, down the track.
It only gets better. And Chaney is right. It's not. He's in the beginning of the road. There's a long road. We're always in recovery. Something that I want to mention out there for people who are in recovery, don't think that recovery stops after 6 months, or that you've been to rehab for 3 months and that you're done. You're good now. You need to put a framework of support around you. You know, a tripod system of support is what we put. You know, people come and join our family on, and you're in recovery forever. You know, you're in recovery. You need to do the work, and that tripod system of support looks like an AOD counsellor, okay, drug and alcohol counsellor, NA meetings, AA meetings, group therapy, church. You know, my choice was church, and that's what I recommend. DJ that went to NA, he says, you know, he hangs on to that. And to have a buddy, have a support person, have somebody that's walked that walk, that, you know, you can call and say, you know, I want to die today. No, you don't, Andrea. You die tomorrow. Today we're going to go and walk on the beach, or help Mrs. Jones because she's got cancer. And somebody that will be there and say, hey, I can see you're isolating. What are you doing, mate? Let's go out. Let's go and do something fun. Have you been to your doctor's meeting lately? Have you been to your NA? I care about you, and I'm here as your friend, and that's why we call them buddies. Yeah. Some places call them sponsors, we say buddy because it is a friendship.
Meetings help a lot.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, they bring you back down to ground zero, and you gotta lose everything you ever known, and start again.
Yeah.
To have any what do you call it? Any
Clean slate. You know, you've got to clean the slate and go, I don't want that anymore.
any chance at giving it a proper shot.
That's
and
it.
You gotta get rid of what you knew before.
That's it. Well, Chaney and Steve, thank you so much for joining us on the couch tonight and for sharing from your heart. And you know, it is a journey, and we look forward to walking with you as a family in AARC on this journey. I have one thing I want to ask each of you. If you had one word, first for you, if you had one word to describe ice addiction.
Putrid.
Putrid, right down the barrel, putrid.
Putrid.
That's, you know, not nice, yuck. Putrid is disgusting.
Horrific.
Horrific. Yeah, okay, thank
Not
you.
bad.
And if you had one final thing that you could say out there to family, Steve, if there's one final thing just one thing that they had to get out of today, what would that be?
Hope. There's always hope.
Awesome. Fantastic.
Always.
What about you, Chaney? One final message, right down the barrel.
One word or
One final message. If the last thing you could tell somebody out there that's, you know, entrapped in addiction or thinking about trying drugs. Or...
There's a better life without it. Much better.
Awesome.
What are
Thank
those other 3 words?
What are those other 3 words?
Not-
That's it.
Here.
Once. Not even once,
Not
guys.
even once.
Not even. You're here.
Sorry,
Awesome. Thanks so much for joining us on the couch tonight, guys.
Privilege.
Don't forget, the very next event is on the 14th of August in Sydney. Look forward to seeing you, Sydney. And the bike show on the 18th of August. Lots of love. God bless.
Bye.